welcome to our 12 days of Christmas for 2021. So maybe you've been following the prior classes, 11 videos beforehand, of where I've just broken down the poses, going through the alignments, talking through different ways that you can fire up those poses and get the most out of them. Maybe you haven't. It doesn't matter. This is a 20-minute flow, which is all about connecting your breath to your movement and just hopefully allowing yourself feeling a little bit more refreshed and revived afterwards. So you're going to stand at the top of the mat. I'm just going to stand in the center just so that you can see what I'm doing. You want to have your feet hip width apart, keep the spine nice and tall, shoulders in line with the hips, engage the core, try not to flare the rib cage here, and you're just going to bring your hands to heart center. Now you can either have your eyes closed or you can soften your gaze and look down towards the floor. I want you to pull your shoulders all the way up towards the ears and then roll them down and back. Now see if you can try and have it so your thumbs are resting on your chest so you can feel that natural rise of the chest as you breathe. And we're just going to take a moment here just to notice our natural breath. So don't change the way that you're breathing at all. Maybe you can tell that you're breathing deeply down into the belly. Maybe it's shallow into the chest. There's no right or wrong answers, and we're definitely not here to cast any judgment. But this is just your opportunity to have a little check-in with yourself, see what's going on, see how you feel. So we're going to start our practice with a little bit of Ujjayi breath. Maybe you don't feel like that's for you today, that's fine. I want you just to focus on good quality inhales and exhales. And we're going to try and continue that breath throughout our whole practice today. There might be times of where you kind of notice that you've lost that quality of your breath. Once you do, bring it back. So for our first part of Ujjayi breath, we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, making an audible sound. So inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Lovely. 3 more times. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. As you exhale, soften the jaw. Continue inhaling. Exhale, make that audible sound. Lovely. 1 more time. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Now continue with your breathing through the mouth if you wish, but we're going to now try and close the mouth, continue making that sound. So inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the nose, still with that audible sound. Perfect. 4 more. Two more. Remember, you want to slightly restrict the back of the throat. Last one. Lovely. So we're going to try and keep the quality of the breath as we move today. So open your eyes if they're not already. You're going to take your feet a little bit wider. We're going to go straight into our malasana or our squat. So take your feet as wide as you need. Turn the toes if you need to. We're going to drop the bum down to the ground. If you need padding for the heels so you've got something to press into, do so. But use your arms to press into the legs, legs back into the arms. Create that length by lifting the crown of the head up nice and tall. Now we're going to work a little bit into the hips here. So as you next exhale, you're going to bring your bum up, keep a soft bend in the legs, straighten the legs slightly, and then exhale, drop yourself down. So we're going to come into they're almost like frog squats. Inhale, lift the bum up, press the heels, feet down into the ground. Exhale, lower. Still try and use your arms to press the legs away from you. We're going to do 2 more. Lovely. We're not coming to straighten the legs all the way, so keep a bend in the knees, tailbone goes up nice and high. Lovely. Set it back down into your squat. See if you can press your knees back a little bit more by using those arms. We're just going to hold it here for 2 breaths. So keep that quality of your inhale and your exhale as you breathe. As you next exhale, drop your hands down to the ground. I'm just going to turn. From here, you're going to walk your legs out. You're going to come into your plank. So spread the fingers. Make sure your index fingers are pointing towards the top of the sky. Top of the sky, top of the mat. Shoulders are stacked on top of your ankles. Ankles, definitely wrists. What's wrong? Anyway, shoulders on top of the wrists. From here, as you next exhale, press back. Take it into your down dog. Awesome. As it's our first down dog, just pedal through the legs 1 foot at a time. Drive the heels nice and close down to the ground. Whether they touch or not, it doesn't matter. We're just trying to encourage a little bit of length in the hamstrings, the calves, the Achilles. Just make sure you're allowing your head to drop here. So we don't want to invite any tension into the neck, the shoulders. So you're looking from your knees down towards your toes. And then we're just going to find a little bit of stillness here. So use your hands to press into the ground. Make sure you're not coming into a back bend here. Keep that core switched on. Tailbone up nice and high. We're going to hold it here for 1 more breath. Lovely. We're going to send that left leg up towards the sky, 3-legged dog. Keep your chest facing down to the ground. Just send that left leg up as high as you can. Extend through the leg. Now as you next exhale, we're going to bend the leg, bring it underneath. Look between the hands as we step the foot all the way through. Drop the back knee, flatten the toes. We're going to sink down into that front leg. So try and keep your front foot flat to the floor. If you need to walk it a little bit further forward, do so. Knee can go past your toes as long as that feels comfortable on your knees. Allow your hips to become heavy. Squeeze your glutes. So your glutes help us, enable us to get into the hips a little bit more. We're just going to hold it here for 1 more breath, and then we're going to straighten the leg, take it into our half monkey. So find that stretch in the hamstrings. Maybe have a little bit more of a bend in the leg and focus on pulling the toes back towards you. Squeeze the front of the hips. Find that length in the upper body, so try not to round the shoulders. And whilst you're here, maybe just have a little bit of a wiggle from side to side. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Let's try and ease off those hamstrings. Awesome. Come back to center. Squeeze the front of the hip a little bit more. Can you draw your thigh and your belly towards each other? Lovely. Slowly come forward. You're going to bring both hands to the inside of the front foot. We're going to shuffle the left foot out to the side, create some space, turn the toes to about 11 o'clock, and then drop through the hips. So you can either have your arms straight and just drop through the hips, maybe bend the elbows. You can maybe use a block, come down onto it, or take your elbows all the way down to the ground. If you want a little bit more of a stretch in that right hip, what you can do is tuck the right toes, press the heel away from you. Just increase that distance between the back knee and the front foot. We're just going to hold it here for 2 more breaths. Squeezing the glutes, breathing deeply into those areas of where we feel a little bit of tightness. Lovely. We're going to slowly use the hands, lift the chest up, walk that left foot between the hands. We're just going to step back, come back into our down dog. Make sure your feet are hip width apart. The L-shaped part of your hands are being firmly pressed down into the ground. And as you next inhale, send your right leg up, come into your 3-legged dog onto this side. Lengthen through the leg, point the toes. As you next exhale, bend the leg, slowly bring the foot all the way through. Drop the back knee, flatten the toes, sink down into this front leg. Really try and press the ball of the right foot down into the ground. Awesome work. And then we're going to take it back into that half monkey. So maybe one side you can get a little bit deeper than the other. It really doesn't matter. We're working on each side to the best of the mobility that we've got and flexibility. Point the toes back towards you, give the front of the hip a little bit of a squeeze, shoulders down and away from the ears, and then maybe just give yourself a little bit of a wiggle. So we just loosen off the hamstrings and the other muscles that are connected towards the hips. Awesome. Come back to center, both hands to the inside of the front foot. Create a little bit more space, turn the toes out to 2 o'clock, and then take it down to whatever level feels comfortable. Still don't allow the shoulders to roll forward. Draw them down the back. Maybe tuck the left toes, take the left knee a little bit further away from you. Now if you do that and you notice the quality of the breath sharpens or becomes shallow, you've probably gone too far, so just walk that leg back in. Lovely. Use your hands, press. From here, we're going to take it all the way back, down dog. I want you to then bend your knees, walk your feet all the way towards your hands, come to your forward fold at the top of the mat. Still make sure your feet are hip width apart. Press all 4 corners of your feet down into the ground. Really get the feet engaged here, pull the arches up. If the legs are super tight, do not force your legs locked. They don't have to be. So you can have a soft bend. Just allow your upper body to really sink down towards the floor. Crown of the head faces to the ground. And then from here, the next couple of breaths, I want you to try and squeeze your belly towards your thighs. Almost try and take your chest towards your sternum. Your chest towards your sternum, your shins. 2 more breaths here. If you've lost that Ujjayi breath, try and bring it back. Lovely. Press your feet down into the ground, slightly bend the legs. As you inhale, come all the way up, hands reach. As you exhale, bring your hands down to heart center. Inhale, circle the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, fold and lower, forward fold. You're going to take your hands to your shins, come up halfway. As you next exhale, fold. We're going to send the right leg back, turn the foot out towards the side. We're going to rise, come all the way up into our warrior 2. So nice wide stance in the legs, slightly press that left thigh back, firm the outer edge of that right foot down into the ground. Squeeze your glutes, lift your spine a little bit higher. We're just going to hold it here for 2 more breaths. So expand through the chest, reach the hands away from each other. Then we're going to take it into our extended side angle. So you can either take your left forearm to that left thigh, reach your right arm up and over. If you want, you can take your left hand down to the ground and maybe even use your block. If your hand is down towards the floor, try and use the leg, get a little bit more rotation round. Reach that top hand up as high as you possibly can. So you can either stay here or maybe take your right hand to your lower back, take your left hand to the outside of that front foot. We're going to shuffle that back foot in a little bit more, and we're going to take it into our half moon. So press all your weight into your left foot, kick your right foot up and turn the right toes out towards the side. See if you can come a little bit lighter onto your left hand, maybe come up onto your fingertips. If you want to expand that right arm up, you can. If you're still in that extended side angle, awesome, hold it there. Keep expanding the chest round to the side. From here, we're going to drop the left hand down, right hand goes back to your lower back. We're going to step that right leg back. As you next inhale, come all the way up, come into your reverse warrior. So you can keep your right hand behind your back or release it, but just sink nice and deep into that front leg. Inhale, come all the way back to center, warrior 2. Straighten the front leg, turn the toes. So we're going to press the feet down into the ground. Just have a quick check and make sure your toes are in the same line as if you draw a line from one to the other. Try and pull the feet to meet in the center, get the legs switched on. We're then going to turn the toes go out to the sides, pigeon toe the feet. As you next exhale, we're going to sink down into the legs, coming to our goddess, arms coming to our cactus pose. Inhale, reach up, arms go out to the side. Lovely, 2 more times. Exhale, lower, press the knees behind you, keep the core nice and strong. Inhale, release the arms, straighten the legs. 1 last time, hold it here. Press the knees back, squeeze the glutes, firm the feet down into the ground. Pull the elbows behind you. 1 more breath here. Straighten the legs, straighten the arms. Perfect. So now left toes point out to the side, right toes point out. Come into your warrior two. You might have to shuffle your feet slightly. Reach the hands away from each other. Make sure your shoulders are stacked on top of the hips. You're not leaning too far forward. Hold it here. One more breath. And then extended side angle. So right forearm to fire, left arm reaches up and over. Try and keep that back bottom shoulder away from your ear. If your hand's down on the ground, get that extra rotation by using the leg to help. Now you can either stay here, maybe take your left hand to your lower back. You can stay here in your half bind. Or you can take your right hand to the outside of the right foot, shuffle the foot in slightly, just make your life a little bit easier. And then when you're ready, come up, half moon. So turn the left toes out to the side, press the head away from that left foot, come nice and light onto the right hand, maybe reach the left arm up. The more you reach up, you might notice that your right fingers, your bottom hand, starts floating off the floor. Now, as mindfully as we came into this pose, we're going to come out of it. So take your left hand to the lower back, slowly lower the left foot down, come back into your warrior two. You can either keep your left hand where it is or release it as you come into your reverse warrior. Keep reaching that right hand up, expand, try and open between the armpit and the hip. We're going to come all the way back to center, straighten the front leg, make sure those toes are in line with each other, pull the feet together to meet in the middle, get the muscles and the legs switched on, and then we're going to take it back into our goddess. So pigeon toe the feet, as you exhale, sink. Press the arms back, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, straighten. Reach the arms out. 2 more times. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Awesome work. Last one. Press the thighs behind you. Press the palms back. Squeeze the upper back as much as you can. Now this time we're going to straighten the legs. Take the hands to the hips. Elbows go behind you. Turn the toes so they're facing towards the same direction. And then as you exhale, slowly fold down. Take it into your wide leg fold. So fingers can drop down to the ground, maybe in line with the toes, maybe grab hold of the opposite ankle, but try and pull your belly towards your thighs, chest towards your shins, and allow the crown of the head to drop down to the floor. 2 more breaths here. Still try and pull the feet to meet in the center of the mat. As you next exhale, come up onto your fingertips, half lift. Press the head away from the bum, find that length. And then from here, just going to tiptoe your feet in a little bit, drop it back down into your squat. Lovely, 2 breaths here. Press the arms into the legs, create that length, drop the bum down. Now, however you need to, we're going to take it down to the ground. And we're going to kick the legs out in front. We're going to take it into our pretzel pose. So right leg's in line with the right hip, bend the left foot, we're going to step it over. Right arm behind you, keep the spine tall. Arms, you're going to send the same arm across the front leg. Whether you come into the cactus arm or arm out straight, rotate the chest round to the side and look wherever feels comfortable. On your exhale, see if you can get a little bit more rotation. We're just going to hold it here for 1 more breath. Now you're going to keep your left leg where it is. You're going to take your left arm behind you, hug the leg with your other arm and rotate round the other way. Squeeze your upper back, try and pull the shoulders in line with each other. Inhale, come all the way back to center. Step the left leg over, we're going to bring the right foot in, we're going to come into our cobbler. So soles of the feet together, grab hold of the toes or the ankles, press the knees down towards the ground, lift the spine tall. You can either stay here or try and aim to get your belly towards your feet. Now, it's not going to happen, or maybe it does, you might prove me wrong, but that's just the direction that we're trying to bring the weight. So we're still creating that length in the upper body. And if you want more of a stretch on your hips here, you can use your elbows, press into the legs. If you're not really feeling that, then press your legs back into the hips. Get a little bit more tension, good tension into those hips. Lovely. Inhale, lift the spine tall. This time, send your left leg out. We're going to send the right leg over. Make sure that where the position of your right foot, the ankle feels okay. Pull the left toes back. We're going to rotate across the leg and we're going to press the arm into the leg. Use the next couple of exhales, get a little bit more rotation round. Lovely. Keep the legs as they are. We're going to come back to center, hug the leg with the opposite arm and then continue to rotate round. So just counter twisting. Inhale, come all the way back to center. From here, step the right leg over, have the legs bent, soles of the feet to floor. We're going to take it into a spinal roll down. Now, if you find it difficult to get the core engagement, you're going to take a block or a book, squeeze your thighs together. Now, reach your arms forward, slightly tuck your tailbone under, and then we're going to slowly lower down. So one vertebrae at a time, really hard. But I want you to control it for as long as you possibly can. So remember, you need to take it to that point of where you don't feel like you've got any control and then lower yourself down. That's the little area that we learn to build more strength, flexibility and control. Now when you lower down, if you've got a block between your thighs, you can keep it there if you want. You're going to send your arms alongside you. Try and press your lower down into the ground, knit the ribs to the hips. Keep that positioning as you squeeze your glutes, lift your hips off the floor, come into your bridge pose. So try not to dome the belly here. Squeeze the glutes, try and press your bum towards your heels, get a little bit more opening in that lower back. If you can really feel it in your lower back, make sure that you're not dipping, coming into that interior tilt. You're pressing your hips up. We're just going to hold it here for one more breath. And then nice and slowly lower yourself all the way down. Press your whole spine back down into the yoga mat. And just hold it here. You can remove the block if you've got one between your thighs. Place it down to the ground. From here, hug both the knees into the body. Give yourself a nice big squeeze, maybe rock from side to side. But then you're going to come into a position that you can hold for the next couple of breaths. So maybe come into your full Savasana position. That 20 minutes went super quick. So maybe you want to stay on your mat and just stay a little bit longer in your Savasana, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to talk you through it. We're going to stay there for 8 breaths. I'll say my goodbyes, but if you want to stay there, you're more than welcome to. So wherever you are, make sure you're nice and comfortable. You feel supported by the ground beneath you. Close your eyes as you just soften your face. Shoulders drop down and away from the ears. Just allow yourself to become heavy. Let go of any effort in holding yourself in a particular position. Bring your focus back to your breath. And again, we're looking for good quality breathing now. So you can either focus on matching the length of your inhale and your exhale, or you're going to come back into your Ujjayi breath. Personal preference. Personal Ujjayi breath, we're still finding that balance, but if you don't want to come into that audible sound, that's perfectly fine. Wherever you are, inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Keep your focus on your breath as you breathe. Allow thoughts, distractions just to fade into the background. As we just do another 6 breaths together here. So if you want to stay in your Savasana just a little bit longer, you're more than welcome to, but this is where I'm going to leave you. Those 20 minutes were short but oh so sweet. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you very soon on your yoga mats.
Hey, chingity ching, it's Dominic the donkey.